It's been a little while since I've done a gun video, so I thought I would throw one up. I picked up one of the fairly new in their lineup Smith & Wesson M&P compacts with the flat dark earth finish. I'm a fan of the flat dark earth. I like it. It's a little bit more exciting to me than just the basic black guns like a lot of guns are. So I saw that they'd come out with one of these and I said, well, I like that a lot. I like that color. I completely don't need another one of these, but okay, I just wanted it for the color. I just wanted it because it was cool looking. I said it. I admit it. So I picked it up. My plan with this is that the new Delta Point Pros are coming out. I thought maybe I'll get one. Maybe I'll put it on this. So I saw it. I picked it up. And here you go. Truth be told, I'm fairly fond of the M&Ps. I've got a few of them. When I first got into shooting, I really wanted to be a Glock guy. And I shot the Glocks, and they're great guns. Nothing against Glocks. My dad shoots Glocks. My friends shoot Glocks. I just don't care for the Glocks so much. They don't feel as well in my hand. I don't like the Glock triggers. So I picked up a M&P compact. This is the first gun I had. Just straight black. The only modification I really did to this was to the trigger. I'll talk about the triggers in a little bit. And then after that, I picked up a second one, and I sent this off to David Bowie of Bowie Tactical Concepts, and he did a bunch of work on it. Again, you can see that I like the flat dark earth, so he Cerakoted the slide, redid the trigger, smoothed out some of the edges, put the magwell cutouts in down here, a bunch of work. Check out, I've got a video on this. I have a video on really all of these for that matter. But I like this a lot, and it's done well for me. This has been my carry gun for a long time, and I, of course, put a loopholed Delta Point on it. We'll see if that shows up in the video at all. Probably can't see the red dot in there, but somewhere in there's a little red dot. This one's actually the triangle, 7 MOA triangle, which I liked. It's nice, but the 7 MOA triangle, if you're starting to do a little bit more fine shooting on anything far away, that triangle pretty much covers up the entire target. So I wanted to get something a little bit smaller. Aside from that, I have the M&P Shield, which I really like. I carry this one. I want something a little bit smaller. And then I have a full-size 9 here and the M&P 22. I don't think any of these really have the stock trigger. The original one had that trigger that didn't have a reset. I replaced that with the Apex. I replaced this with the Bowie trigger. My full-size 9, I have the Apex trigger in. The 22, okay, that's got the stock 22 trigger in it. And then my Shield has the stock Shield trigger in it, which is actually the same as the new compact trigger. So this is their newer trigger. So I'll get these guns out of the way because this video is about the compact. But the way the triggers are on these guns, these newer triggers, I took all these guns down to the range and I used the trigger weight measuring device. The stock trigger on this is about 6 pounds, and my two modified triggers, my Apex trigger, the DC AEK Duty Carry Action Enhancement Kit, and my Bowie trigger both came out around 5 pounds. So 6 pounds for the stock trigger, 5 pounds for my aftermarket triggers, and these are so much nicer to shoot, I gotta tell you. The stock trigger here, again, it's about 6 pounds. It has a decent amount of take up here, you can see. And the brake on it, it's 6 pounds, but it's a really abrupt brake. And then there is, you can see now, a reset. So they've added that. So there's that. The other triggers I have, the Apex trigger. I like this because it gets a pound lighter, but the brake is so much smoother. It's a much nicer brake. It does have a reset. It's a little bit less audible reset, but still enough that you can hear it and you can feel it. You can kind of feel it in your hand there. It's a really nice feeling trigger. The Bowie trigger, also about 5 pounds. The brake on that is also nice and not as abrupt. Nice and smooth. This one has a little bit more of a reset. You can hear that little bit more audible reset. The Bowie, he did a bunch of work on this, as I mentioned. The slide, he Cerakoted. I didn't know how the Cerakoting was going to hold up over time, but I've had this gun for, 5 years or so, 4 or 5 years. And really the Cerakote held up pretty well. This went in and out of my holster all the time. I've been using my ProTech holster. Check out Jonathan over at ProTech. I've got a video on this holster. He does great jobs with these holsters. But I've been using Kydex holsters since I pretty much started shooting. And so it's going in and out of the holster all the time. And yeah, there's a little bit of holster wear up on the top here. But I suppose it's maybe better than I thought it might be. I didn't really know what to expect. A little bit of holster wear there, a little bit of it over here, and some up on the front here where it goes into the holster. But overall, it's okay. I don't mind it. People talk about adding character to the gun, but it does wear off over time. By that vein, the Melinite slides on these hold up really well. This one I've carried in a holster a lot, and there's really no visible signs of wear on this. So with these new ones, the new Flat Dark Earth, it's kind of the inverse of my Bowie gun. You know, the Flat Dark Earth slide or the Flat Dark Earth, which way are we going here? Flat Dark Earth slide or the Flat Dark Earth frame. And on this, I'm not going to have any problems with the slide, kind of discoloring it all. So that's about it for this. I don't care for this trigger, so I do have an Apex trigger in the mail. We'll replace that. I'll probably put the Magwell cutouts down here. And then the new Delta Point Pro is coming out. Leupold has been kind of dragging their feet with these Delta Points. The Delta Point, original Delta Point, which I've had again for a couple of years, and I really like it. You can kind of see the dot there a little bit. Probably doesn't come out as a triangle in the camera here, but 7 MOA triangle. It's big, it's nice, I like it. Admittedly, if I'm in a gunfight, I'm not going to know my gun even has sights. I'm just going to be pointing at the bad guy and focused on whatever gun he or whatever weapon he has. But my plan is to put one of the new Delta Point Pros on this. The rear sights on this, by the way, it's just the stock rear sights. My original one, I did add some night sights, but this one just comes with the stock 3 white dot sights. When you get the Delta Point on there, it replaces the rear sight, and then what you can do is you can add the backup iron sights like I have here, such that if for some reason the battery suddenly goes dead, you can use those backup iron sights. And the nice thing about these Delta Points is that the typical way of shooting is that you do sight alignment. You get the sights aligned like that, and then trigger control, and then you shoot. With the red dots, you get to skip that sight alignment thing. It's just put the red dot on the target and pull the trigger. You still need to have good trigger control. You still can't be jerking the gun. So you still need to have all the fundamentals along with that. It just lessens the time because you just get to put the dot on the trigger or put the dot on the target and shoot. So that covers it for this gun. I'm really happy with the new fashion colors, but check one out for yourself. The Smith & Wesson M&P Compact with the new Flat Dark Earth frame.